I bulked up and I put on more athleticism. Lol. It's the truth. Of course, as I actually put on more muscle mass, not just mass, I was able to basically become more athletic. Not slower, not stiffer like people usually think when they say that bodybuilding, building too much muscle is gonna make you stiff. Like even some of like my skinny flipping, like my completely skinny like basketball teammates that don't lift it. Every time I try forcing them to lift, it's like they go to the gym for a bit, but then they stop. They just, for some reason, can't go to the gym. Of course, when they see me lift, I remember there was this one time, he just looks at me and he's like, nah, bro, I don't want to be too stiff. It's like, what the flip are you even on, bro? Like, I'm literally way more athletic than you. And of course, it's like, if your skill is not upgrading to a decent extent compared to like your physique, of course it's gonna look like you're stiff because you just don't have coordination, but you never get too flipping big. Don't fall for this lie, bro. You never get too flipping big to become athletic unless you're on flipping steroids, or unless your training is just way too unfunctional, like you always use machines and you never use free weights. But that's not the main talk. I'm actually talking about how do you actually build this muscle, because of course if you want to be more powerful, more explosive, which is what you need to be athletic, right? You use your muscles, and your muscles need to be trained in a specific way with your nervous system so that you can produce force, but quickly, obviously. So you need muscle. The more muscle you have, the more power you can generate if you actually train for that power as well, not just muscle building only. But still, even the more muscle I've put on, like just pure muscle, more athleticism. How do you actually build the muscle without fat gain? Because as an athlete, bro, traditional bulking sucks. I'm about to go on to that just now. All I've been doing is literally the 2 to 4% caloric surplus. Simple. Caloric surplus, yeah, I don't know if you know it. You're eating more calories than you need to maintain your body. I do not track. I just eat 2 to 4% more calories than my maintenance level, like above my maintenance level. And it's a very small number, I know. Most people, when they think of bulking, they think of like the big, like dirty bulking or the lean bulking where you have to always be shoving food down your throat way past when you are full, you know. But this 2 to 4% surplus, it's very small. And it still actually builds muscle, because this is actually the surplus range where you will be in a surplus, right? So your body will be in an anabolic state, but it's not going to be like a usual bulk, because your levels, your hormone levels, are actually able to stay optimized in that range, which will indirectly actually help you to make more optimized muscle gain. I know I sound bro sciencey, but it's the truth. Regular bulking, flipping sucks. Even like lean bulking that people always talk about now, especially for athletes. Let me just say for athletes. Of course, if you just want muscle and you don't care if you put on some fat, fine. Because with the 2 to 4% surplus, you do not gain fat. You do gain fat, but like barely. It's like you're basically gaining almost the same amount of muscle at almost the same pace as when you regularly bulk, like just slightly slower, but without any fat gain. Literally, I'm telling you the truth. I've been doing this myself for quite some time. I think it's like been a year and a half now. Regular bulks suck for athletes because yes, you inevitably have to gain some sort of fat. You become maybe a bit chubby, your abs don't show as much. It slows you down because fat doesn't fly. We all know this. Fat does not, it does not flipping fly. Fat does not flipping fly. We all know this. So it's like you have to bulk and then you have to cut. Who the flip wants to bulk when they are playing basketball? Just becoming slower. Estrogen levels go up because you just have more fatty deposits naturally. It's not as good for your testosterone levels in the short term, Then when you have to go on the cut, it's like your energy levels go down. You just can't really perform as well because your energy is not really there. You can't really make that much progress. Of course you can, but like it's not as good. We all know this, and it takes time. It's okay, not time, but it's draining. It's kind of draining. That's what I'm saying. This is actually like better for athletes, because this is what some athletes do. they're always in a very small surplus, which allows them to just build muscle. The simple daily eating rule that you actually need to get into the surplus, because I know you're like, this is flipping the cheat code. Just don't track. Just eat every single normal meal you do every day until you are full. Do not try to eat past the point when you're full, because you're not like fully trying to lean bulk like 10%, 15% above maintenance. Then on one meal, preferably at the end of the day, sorry, eat slightly more food than when you are full. Like on that one meal of the day, usually the last meal, you can have maybe like an extra spoon or two of rice or like a handful of nuts. Something to just get a little bit more extra calories, and don't overthink it. That will usually leave you within the 2 to 4% surplus range. And I'm telling you, if you're training hard, you're lifting hard, and you're also like doing your cardio 2 to 3 times a week, or even like 4 times a week, 5 times if you have an actual sport, and you're lifting hard, like you're not training like a little blitz, you're actually like lifting, proper training and everything, you will literally build basically nothing but muscle. Like you'll basically never need to even cut. You will just be bulking. Yes, your progress will look very slow because your overall mass is not going up, right? Because you're not just like gaining fat. So it's making your muscles look like they're bigger, but they're not. It's like you're gaining pure muscle, basically. And of course, in total, yes, regular like lean bulking even puts on more muscle mass, like slightly more, like a bit more muscle mass than the 2 to 4%. But the benefit about the 2 to 4% is yes, it takes slightly longer and it's slightly less muscle in total, maybe even because you're optimizing your hormones, remember. You do not get as much fat gain. You basically don't, especially when you make sure you are there. Alright, so start doing this. You know this is good. I'll see you.